Ladies and gentlemen, hell has completely frozen over because I finally have found a palette from Dior that I like. Now, in the past, I've had a couple of Dior palettes. I had Eden Rock. I had, was it Red Tartan? They're all just very low pigment, low impact palettes. And so when I saw a recent Get Ready With Me or whatever with Alicia Archer and with Hand Beauty, they were talking about how this series from Dior, which is the Dior 5 Colors limited edition, they come in this special packaging, were really high impact, really beautiful. I thought, well, maybe I'll give it another try. Now, I didn't buy the whole series. They have a pink one, they have a beige one, a blue one, and a purple one. I didn't know how good it would be or how bad it would be or if I'd like it or I'd hate it. But I went ahead and picked it up, and I picked up the one called Midnight Lame, which is the navy blue one. And I can tell you that it is a beautiful palette with a lot of pigment and interesting finishes, interesting textures. Is it making me commit to Dior palettes in the future? Probably not. But I will look at this series because apparently they come out with a few of these every year around this time. And so if taking a look at this new palette and doing a whole face of Dior wherever possible, I don't have everything from Dior, sounds good to you, then please consider liking, subscribing, following along, and shopping my links. It really does help the channel because it's an expensive channel to run. So again, if that sounds good to you, then come on in. So let's go ahead and swatch this new palette for you. This palette has, it looks like a matte, which is a dark navy, a satin, a metallic, a duochrome, and a topper. And I was kind of questioning the silver in the middle when I first got it. But then I realized when I swatched it that it truly is a topper, because I was like, if it's another silver shadow, I have a lot of those and I don't tend to wear silver shadows a lot. But this one really is an interesting kind of wet look topper. So I'm going to start with the duochrome. And this is an icy blue with a little bit of a shift of teal. Then we have this satin, which is just a beautiful gray blue color, a color I've been wishing Pat McGrath would do in a mothership for a long time. Then we have this blue metallic, and speaking of Pat McGrath, this sort of reminds me of, it's not as dark as the blue that's in the first mothership, but it is similar to the blue that was a single a few years ago. It was domed and it came with like a liquid you could put on to make it look wet look. Similar to that, really beautiful neutral metallic blue. And then this dark gray slate blue. And then let me grab the center shade, which is this kind of silver with a translucent base topper. And I'll put that over here. And you can see there's not a lot of base to it, but it really is just kind of a silver sparkle topper. So that already has more pigment than anything I've ever tried from Dior. And the textures feel different. So let's go ahead, now that we've swatched it, and get a quick base on. And for that, I'm going to grab my Dior Backstage foundation, which is one I actually really quite like. I don't use it a ton, but I do like it. And so I'm going to do a quick little run with that. Now, they did come out as part of this spring launch with reformulations of their matte and their glow foundations. But I did not grab those because I have this Dior foundation. I have the Dior Hydra Nude, which I really like. And I have the Dior Stick Foundation, which is fantastic. So I feel like I have a good assortment of Dior foundations. I may even have the old matte pre-reformulation. So I didn't feel like I needed additional Dior foundations. And the results online have been a little mixed from what I've seen. So, you know, people who always loved the Dior foundation, the traditional one, maybe don't like the reformulation, but people who haven't tried it before maybe don't know, or they do like the reformulation. I like the Backstage a good deal. I like the Hydra Nude a lot, and I like the Stick. So I think those are all beautiful products. Dior actually, for as much as I don't typically like their eyeshadows, they do really beautiful foundation products and base products. So for the concealer, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Dior Backstage concealer. And I haven't used this in a while, but from what I recall, it's a good kind of workhorse product that works really nicely and that I didn't have any real problems with. So I'm going to let that sit for just a second, and I'm going to grab my Dior setting powder, because this is a lovely setting powder. I have the translucent one that has a little bit of glow to it, but they have matte ones as well. So let me put this in. And what I'm doing is just creating a nice base so that we can see what these shadows look like. And I'll create 2 looks today. Dior also came out with some colored mascaras. I already have blue mascaras from Chanel and from YSL. And so I did not pick those up, and it didn't look that far different than the blue one that I have from YSL, which I really love. So I didn't pick that up. Okay, now that we have a base on, and I think I have enough concealer that I can just put it across the lid. What I'm going to do is take a little bit of the translucent glow setting powder and just put it under the eye. And I'm actually going to put a little bit on the lid because I am coming home right from work, so they might be a little oily. And I want to show you these as they are at their best. Okay, so that did a really nice job. Let's go ahead and finish the base, and then we'll come in on the eyes. So I have my Dior Contour Stick, a very nice product. And so I'm just going to draw a little bit of that on. I'm not going to do blush today, or not blush. I'm not going to, well, I'm kind of not going to do blush either. But I was going to say I'm not going to do bronzer because I don't have the Dior bronzer, and I have a lot of bronzers I really love, so I haven't felt the need to necessarily pick it up. But I have heard good things about it. But the contour product is actually quite nice. I like the Westman Atelier a little better. I find it a little smoother, but this one's quite nice. Okay, so we've got that on. And then instead of blush, I said I wasn't going to do blush because I haven't really found a ton of Dior blushes that I like. But one thing I do like from Dior, and maybe I should try the liquid blush they came out with. I know Alicia Archer really likes it. But I like these glow luminizers. So I just grabbed the shade Rosy. And I'm going to put that here and here. And here and here. And just blend that in real quick. And these can be used as a blush or a highlighter because they have a nice amount of base to them. So I'm just using it as a blush today. But like I said, they do have a liquid blush now that's similar to these. I haven't tried yet. But then I also grabbed, because it's going to be the perfect one for this, the sugar icing one that came out at the early part of winter this year. And I think is still available if you can find it. There are about 15 of these now between the limited edition ones and the permanent collection. But this one's got an icy blue to pink shift. and that's going to be perfect with a blue look. They also came out with a beautiful highlighter as part of that candy collection that I really love. But I think this is giving enough. Finally, I don't have Dior lip liners. I don't even have a ton of Dior lipstick, but I do have some glosses and balms and oils. So I've grabbed my Westman Atelier in Biscuit. Okay, and then I have Shimmer Nude in the Dior lip oil. This is shade number 016, and it's just a beautiful sparkly nude, and I think it'll go perfect. This is the gloss, actually, I think. I think the lip oil's the shorter one. But I think a nude lip would look fine with this. Okay, so we have our base. So now we can go in and look at this beautiful new palette. So let me pull you in a little closer. And I did my brows with Benefit. Okay, so on one eye, well, let's try to go a little more subtle, and then on the other eye, we'll go a little deeper. So I'm going to start with shade number 2, which is this beautiful satin gray-blue shade. And I so want this in a mothership. I would love to see a Pat version of this shade in her matte formula. But something that's really like slate blue gray. It's hard to find. You don't see this kind of shade a lot. Apparently the mirror was so excited there, it did a little jump. Okay, that's really a pretty shade. I could continue to build that up, but I think what I'm going to do is grab this blue metallic shade down here, and it really is just kind of a neutral blue. See, this is so different than a traditional Dior palette, the ones I've tried, because there's immediate color payoff. Normally the other ones, you have to spend so much time and like wet your brush to try to get impact with them. But this one is really beautiful from the get-go. And while I'm here, and I've got a little bit of that blue on the brush, I'm just going to grab a little bit of that slate color up here just to run under and connect. Now, if we're going to go for high impact here, I'll just grab some of that blue on my finger and concentrate it out here. And you can see, like that, there's a ton of pigment. If I need to clean this up with concealer or powder, I will. I'm just here to show you as many, all the colors as I can. Okay, so on the bottom corner down here is this blue-gray. It's not black. It's not navy. It's kind of a blue-gray. And I'm going to put that down here in the corner. Now, one thing I saw in some of these, the other one that kind of interested me was the brown one, but then I was like, I have so many neutral palettes, but it had a beautiful topper in the center too. And that one and this one have depth, but some of them, like the rose one, they don't have much depth at all. So that's why those don't interest me as much. Now on my finger, I'm going to grab this iridescent duochrome blue shade, and I'm going to put this all over the lid. Now, again, if I really wanted to kick this up, you know, Pat McGrath level, then I could use like my Pat McGrath Intensify wand or a glitter glue or something like that. But as you can see, these are pretty high impact on their own. This reminds me a lot of looks you can get. I mean, it's more subtle, but for Dior, it's intense. But like from Mothership 1. And I'm going to actually grab on their little tool that comes with it, the little sponge, and just go along the bottom here. And I'll go ahead and take a little bit of that and put it on the inner corner as well. That's pretty. So now I'm going to take this silver topper shade, and I'm not swirling, but I am picking it up with my finger, just tapping it to get a good amount of the product, and just kind of put this in the center where the light blue and the royal blue, if you will, meet. I'm going to go up to the brow with it, but it creates kind of a spotlight effect. You may not be able to see that effect under this light, but it does add like a sparkle effect. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other eye, and on this one we can go dramatic. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that beautiful transition color again. Some could say this was dramatic, but I think I want to go like full crazy smoke on this one. Maybe I'll do a short where I could do like daytime looks. I'm just so impressed that you can get, you know, these more editorial looks with Dior. That's not something you normally get. It's kind of like Chanel. Although Chanel at the holidays gave us that too. So these people who keep saying color's dead. I.e. Natasha Denona. I don't know about that. Okay. So now I'm going to take this black blue. Little powdery on that one, but nothing crazy. And you can see it builds. Sometimes like the old Mothership 1 through 3 and like the Danessa Myricks black that's in the Lightwork 7, those are just crazy black pigment from the beginning. This, because it's kind of a blue-gray, it's already a little bit lighter, but it's buildable. I certainly could get it to a darker level, but it's just a little bit more user-friendly. I'm going to take a bigger, fluffier brush and just kind of blend out that edge a little. No product on it. Actually, I am going to take a little bit of that slate blue color just to blend out the edge and reintroduce a little of that blue in there. Okay, so now let's take a look at this color and make this the star of the show this time. I am impressed with that level of pigment, but I'm not really going above the crease with that. Now I'm going to go in. Actually, you know what? Let's try the silver shade and see if it'll even work as a shade. Okay, it does. There's not a lot of base to it, but you see what happens when you put it, that part where it meets the regular blue, the cerulean kind of color. that pretty color it turns. It's almost like this. So that's really a cool effect. So you could get a different color by blending. That's nice. I like that. And normally silver shadows, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Finally, I'll grab the duochrome shade and put it on the inner corner. And since this is a dramatic look, I'll put a little under the brow as well. Actually, I can do that on both. Those are two very different looks, but with the same palette. I think I want to grab a little bit more of that slate blue and concentrate it under here. That looks really nice. I mean, neither one of these are probably like workplace appropriate, but if people saw this, I think they would say, is that Danessa Myricks or is that Pat McGrath? And that's a really great thing, you know. I've always looked for that. Charlotte Holdcroft always talks about it. It's one of the early Natasha Denona palettes. It was a 5-pan and it was blue. Not the mini duochrome or whatever that one's called. She just used to have a blue one, and I've never found like a perfect blue palette. This one's pretty close. I mean, this is a really good little blue palette. Now, of course, I think the gold standard is Mothership 1, but this is really nice. And between this and Chanel, and there's a new Half Magic blue single, I think I might next week do like a comparison of all the blues, because there's a lot of beautiful blue that's coming out this time of year. So again, I don't have the liner or mascara, but they looked similar to ones I had. So I have the YSL here in the blue shade, which is in navy. If I wanted something brighter, I could do like the Electric Blueberry from Victoria Beckham. Or if I wanted something lighter, I could go like Jeans from Victoria Beckham. Even Seafoam from Victoria Beckham could be interesting. But YSL, Valentino, they all have shades kind of like this. And then of course Victoria Beckham has navy. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to use my YSL blue because that's a great mascara. Although I did see a number of people say that the new Dior is nice. But I've got the YSL here and I've never had a problem with it. So I'm just going to use it. The new Chanel one is darker than this. And it's more subtle. So if you wanted something a little darker and more subtle, then you could try that one. And I'm talking about the indigo one. That is, if you can get it. And I know this blue palette is sold out on Dior.com, but I think other retailers still have it. So I'll try to link it if I can find it. They come back too. Okay, so let's pull you out and take a look and then do final thoughts. I just realized this shirt from work matches perfectly. So good. So we have two beautiful, very different kind of blue looks, both very dramatic. But I have to say, I'm really impressed with Dior. Am I a converter on Dior eyeshadows? No. But these in this packaging are really beautiful. And so they're limited edition. They came out with some last year, come out with this one. I know that the reviews on all of them have looked nice. but I can definitely attest that the Midnight Lame number 170 is really fantastic. Certainly more dramatic than like the Chanel. The Chanel one's more subdued, but beautiful blue nonetheless. And like I said, I think I will try to do a comparison. Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab the new blue shade of the Half Magic just to do a little preview here for you because it's pretty amazing. I'll be right back. So if you've never tried the Half Magic glitter pucks, they are some of my favorite glittery toppers. They're a little wet feeling, but they're incredibly easy to use and so reflective. So they have a new shade. This is their 4th shade. They've had a rose gold, a gold, a silver, and now they have this blue, which is called Princess Ghost. So I'll just show it to you on the back of my hand. They have that kind of wet feeling, but look at that. They are insane. Their level of pigment and shine. So really beautiful. If you've not tried these Half Magic glitter pucks, they're a really great product from the brand. I find that they are a really good value too, and they're available at Ulta. And you can sheer it out too if you don't want that much intensity. But I have all 4 of the colors and I really love them. And look how much it even shows up a little more on top of that black base. So I think that kind of goes with the theme here. So I just wanted to show you that. I'll probably try to do a short with it, or I was going to do that comparison video of all the blues, but I wanted to at least get this in there so that you could see it in action. So that is the Princess Ghost from Half Magic. Really beautiful. Really like this new Dior. I think it looks really beautiful and not a full convert, but I do really like it. So if you like this kind of content, then please consider liking, subscribing, follow along, and shopping my links. Unsolicited advice on Instagram and YouTube. I'll see you all soon. Bye. Thanks for stopping.